You're doing everything you can, training hard, adhering to your nutrition plan, and your weight seems to be going in the opposite direction than what you want it to be. This can really screw with your head. I'm going to explain why weight fluctuation is so normal and all the reasons why we shouldn't get fixated on our weight. I'm Elle, specialist eating disorder and sports dietitian. Let's begin by talking about the changes in weight throughout an attempt at weight loss to begin with. In theory, weight loss occurs through consuming less energy than what we need for our daily functions and activities. I say in theory because whilst this is the science, human beings are not textbooks or robots. We have emotions, hormones, and live lives with so many variables that no equation or textbook can cater for. Weight loss, whether intentional or not, can often occur with only a few changes to our lifestyle initially. But the body doesn't like change, nor know the difference between an intentional diet and a famine being imminent. And as a protective mechanism, it will start a series of changes to prevent weight loss. These changes can look like increasing ghrelin, our hunger hormone, and decreasing leptin, the hormone which regulates satiety. It does this in an attempt to encourage us to consume more food and prevent a severe calorie deficit. Long periods of dieting can result in a downregulation of systems within the body, as the body attempts to reduce the overall energy output. After an illness, our body generates antibodies so that the illness has less of an effect on our immune system the next time. In a similar way, the body learns from our dieting attempts, and it's normally on high alert and very prepared for your next diet. Those who are chronic dieters or athletes who have to make weight for weight class sports may notice this throughout their attempts at weight loss. As an individual continues to try to lose weight loss typically stalls, meaning that more drastic changes might be required to continue to drop weight. And this is where things can get frustrating and sometimes start being counterproductive. You're training hard, doing extra cardio and steps, hitting your nutrition precisely, and the scale still just won't budge, and maybe it starts going upwards. We must remember that restricting our intake, as well as overtraining in many cases, is going to be causing a lot of physical stress on the body. Then, because your body isn't responding, you're probably going to be stressing about it, so it all becomes a stress fest. So, how does stress affect our weight? Stress, both mental and physical, can dramatically affect your performance goals and even send you in the opposite direction to weight loss, which can cause even more frustration and a lack of trust in your body. Our body responds to stress through a cascade of events. Cortisol, a steroid hormone, is released in response to certain events like waking up in the morning, exercising, injury, or when we're under mental stress. Before we go into why it can be detrimental to your goals, we should acknowledge that cortisol has many helpful functions, including regulating our metabolism and our sleep cycle, and giving us an increase in energy to handle stress. We really do need cortisol, but too much of it, and for a long period of time, can cause havoc among a lot of our body's functions, including disturbing the menstrual cycle in women, disturbing our sleep cycle, and altering our body composition. Cortisol carries many metabolic effects, and having raised cortisol is known to stall weight loss and sometimes promote weight gain. But this is mostly attributable to fluid retention, as cortisol affects the levels of hormones which normally regulate our fluid and salt balance. A diet too low in calories, too low in carbs, and a lifestyle without enough rest and sleep is a recipe for high levels of cortisol, all of which are usually associated with dieting. You could be doing too much, and when we push the body hard, it tends to bite back 10 times harder. Reducing physical stress is fundamental. So although it might sound counterproductive, peeling back on training, reducing cardio, and increasing your intake could actually support your goals more in the long term. Many athletes who have to make weight for competitions can probably relate to this constant battle with having to hit a specific number. But aside from these athletes, is there any real reason to get caught up with the specifics of the number? Despite popular belief, your weight tells us very little about your health. Yes, this is a dietitian saying your health is independent of your weight. Your weight is just one piece of a massive puzzle when it comes to your overall health. Your body weight also has very little to do with your performance, and often how you look too. Our weight literally only tells us how much we weigh in that very moment. Most aesthetic goals do not enhance performance. In fact, they often do the opposite. Studies have demonstrated that when low BMIs are achieved through extreme dieting measures, it results in reduced strength, speed, and velocity. There is this perception that leaner is faster, particularly in endurance sports. But again, when obtaining a lean physique through disordered eating behaviors, it has been seen to have the opposite effect. It is for sure undeniable that some sports will favor certain body compositions depending on the requirements for that sport. For example, forwards in rugby are typically heavier than backs and have a higher body fat percentage, as they require greater strength and power mass rather than speed and aerobic fitness, which backs require. However, there is a point where striving for leanness and or a lower weight starts to have a negative effect on physical and mental health. The ideology of obtaining a certain weight and always aiming to maintain a low weight is very much drilled into us through society and diet culture, and we're often sold the belief that we will be happy when we reach our goal weight, whatever that may be. This can lead us to feeling as though we are less worthy or valuable because of how we look and weigh in comparison to these body ideals. Your emotional health and self-worth is completely independent of your weight, and if you cannot accept this, you probably shouldn't be dieting or focusing on your weight. Our weight fluctuates so often, especially for us women, and this can lead to distress when you put a lot of pressure on yourself to be and remain a certain number. Let's look at just a few of the reasons as to why your weight may fluctuate. Number 1, our time of the month. It is normal for the scales to go up around our period, and not because we want to eat every piece of chocolate in sight, but due to water retention caused by the changes in our hormone levels. The fluctuations in these hormones can not only cause changes around our period, but throughout our entire cycle. Number 2, your toilet habits. If I was to drink 1 litre of water, my weight on the scale will probably go up by about 1 kilo. And this is an excellent example of why weight gain does not automatically equate to fat gain. The same way that having a full or empty bladder and bowels could look like weight gain or loss on the scale. If you have any changes in your toilet habits, like struggling with constipation, which is often normal for women due to changes in progesterone levels, this can also contribute to changes on the scales. And number 3, what you've been eating and drinking, or not eating and drinking. The types of food we eat can influence the number on the scales too, and not because you've gained muscle or fat. For every 1 gram of carbohydrates stored in the body, about 3 to 4 grams of water is stored too. When people cut carbs and believe they've lost weight, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's normally just water weight that's lost. Higher intakes of salt than normal can cause water retention too. So if you jump on the scales after a weekend away or a weekend of eating out, you might convince yourself that you've put on weight, but the reality is that you've probably eaten more carbohydrates and salty foods than normal, and you're retaining more water than you realize. Alcohol, on the other hand, can dehydrate us, and this can cause fluctuations on the scale as well. So, to summarize, weight changes are not the same as muscle or fat loss or gain. Our weight simply tells us how much mass we weigh at that point. It does not indicate how fit or healthy we are, or mean our performance is better or worse. Your ideal weight is one where you can adequately fuel yourself and feel good within your training without compromising your health and performance. As always, if you have absolutely any questions, please drop them in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the Myprotein YouTube channel for more great evidence-based nutrition information.